Who was John Lennon?
He was one of the Beatles.
For me, John Lennon is live.
Brilliant in his own right.
How did he die?
I don't know.
He shot himself with a shotgun.
Heart attack.
Airplane accident. Was it for cancer?
Stabbed by a friend.
Was it drugs and drink?
And people rape me because my mother was a single mother.
Look how strong you've become because
You right, I'm strong.
You'd murder for $10 million?
Yeah, I don't know the guy.
So you'd murder an innocent man?
Yeah, why not?
Who was John Lennon?
He was one of the Beatles.
He sings one of my favorite songs, Here Comes the Sun.
He was a member of the Beatles.
For me, John Lennon is live.
John Lennon's from the Beatles.
My favorite musician.
Singer in the Beatles?
Who was John Lennon?
The singer of the Beatles?
He was a member of the Beatles.
The man that has a late night show?
Brilliant in his own right. There's nobody that can write a song like John Lennon.
John Lennon was the 14th president of America.
Come on.
He's a guy who formed the Beatles.
John Lennon was born on October the 9th, 1940 in Liverpool, England. Early in John's youth, his mother had an extramarital affair and became pregnant. His aunt complained to the social services, and consequently, John was raised by his aunt, who sent him to a local Anglican Sunday school where he sang in the choir. In 1956, John formed a rock group which evolved into the Beatles and gained unprecedented worldwide fame. On March the 4th, 1966, John conducted a casual interview with a British newspaper in which he said, "We're more popular than Jesus." The story is picked up 2 weeks later by Newsweek without controversy. But later that year, the American teen magazine Datebook printed the quote once again, and this time it created a firestorm. Suddenly, radio stations in America's Bible Belt were banning Beatles music, and the national news media were showing clips of teenagers smashing and burning Beatles albums. There were even threats on the band members' lives. John was bewildered by all the hostility because certain things he said seemed to indicate that he sincerely thought it was true. International television and radio had given the Beatles instant international popularity, and the Beatles were passionately loved by hundreds of millions throughout the world. In the United States alone, an estimated 73 million people tuned in to watch The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964, when the group made their first US television appearance. But perhaps there's another reason Lennon thought that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. Could it be that John's words were motivated by the spiritual climate in the UK at the time? Generally speaking, traditional church services in 1960s England were a little dull, with dry hymns and monotone priests and ministers who preached lifeless sermons to a group of sad, elderly people. They often sat in a cold stone building that was appropriately surrounded by a graveyard. And there you have Christianity from the perspective of a young and vibrant John Lennon. It was dying, if not dead, and Jesus Christ was simply an interesting but historical figure that had little relevance to contemporary British youth, who were going wild over the Beatles. It seemed that the average British teenager was about as interested in British Christianity as a toddler was in studying Shakespeare, written in Pig Latin.
The Beatles, of course, have proven to be one of Britain's prime exports. They have brought in more foreign exchange than many industries. After all, they are an industry unto themselves, and the Queen saw fit to reward their economic contribution to the nation. The award entitles the Beatles to put the letters MBE after their names.
On August the 11th, 1966, a meek and still mystified John Lennon held a news conference in Chicago. A reporter asked, "Some teenagers have repeated your statements. I like the Beatles more than Jesus Christ. What do you think about that?"
We meant more to kids than Jesus did, or religion at that time. I wasn't knocking it or putting it down, I was just saying it as a fact. And it is true, especially more for England than here. No, I'm not saying that we're better or greater. or comparing us with Jesus Christ as a person. You know, I just said what I said and it was wrong or was taken wrong, and now it's all this.
In his book, The Gospel According to the Beatles, Steve Turner said, "It was really quite frightening, and they wanted to cancel the tour, but they knew they couldn't. They were under obligation to the tour promoters." And when he made his apology in Chicago, the band's press officer told me that John was actually in tears before he went in to make the apology. However, others think that John knew full well what he was saying because of the context of his quote. He said, quote, "Christianity will go. It will vanish and shrink. I needn't argue with that. I'm right and I'll be proved right. We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity." End of quote. And so people have come to different conclusions on the issue. Just months before he died, John Lennon told Playboy magazine, "Everyone talks in terms of the last record or the last Beatle concert. But God willing, there are another 40 years of productivity to go. I don't want to die at 40. Tragically, John Lennon died at the age of 40. How did he die?
I don't know.
I don't know how he died.
Was stabbed?
Stabbed?
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Don't know.
Let's go with drug overdose.
No. Plane crash.
Stabbed by a friend.
Was it for cancer?
An airplane? I don't know. Was it in a safari?
How he died?
Plane crash?
Airplane accident.
He shot himself with a shotgun.
Commit suicide?
Stab?
Was it drugs and drink?
Heart attack.
Drug overdose? Killed in a New York elevator, I think.
How did he die?
No idea. I have no idea.
John Lennon was shot
By a crazy maniac who was obsessed with Catcher in the Rye.
outside of his apartment building by a man whose name I actually can't remember at the moment.
Probably just as well.
Yeah.
He was shot in the back by a deranged fan who hours earlier had had John autograph his record album. The killer pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Years later, he admitted having considered murdering Johnny Carson, the famous American talk show host, and actress Elizabeth Taylor, among others. John Lennon happened to be the most convenient. He said that he murdered him so that he could become famous.
I hope wherever John is, I hope to go.
Oh yeah?
That's heaven, and that's what I will do.
So where's John Lennon now?
Hopefully in heaven.
He's above us? Where do you think John Lennon is now? You think he's in heaven?
I think he's definitely in heaven.
There is no heaven!
I said if!
There is no heaven!
Okay, how do you know?
Do you think he's in heaven?
Of course.
I think I'll meet John Lennon up there.
Do you think heaven exists?
Yes, I do.
What about you?
Absolutely.
I do.
I think heaven exists.
I'm not sure if it's heaven or hell, but there's something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I'm not sure. It's up there.
You believe God exists?
No, I do not
Are
believe
you
in
an
God.
atheist?
No, I am Buddhist.
A what?
I believe that I have all of the powers that anybody who calls God, God, I have all of that within me. I was born with it. It's called the universe.
Okay, I've got a scenario for you. Find your apartment is next door to a bank. You find a secret trapdoor leading into their vault where there's billions of dollars. So much money they haven't got a clue how much is there. You can take $2 million and you will not get caught for sure. Would you take the money?
Yes.
What about you?
I'd think about it first.
Okay, think about it. $2 million.
Yes, I would.
Yes.
Would you take the money?
Honestly,
Of course.
I'd take it and give it to charity.
yes.
I probably will be tempted, but I won't do it.
If it was from the Federal Reserve, I may take the money.
Would you take the money?
Yes, I would.
Would you take the money?
Oh, yeah. No. I'm on
You
camera. I'm supposed to say no.
Would you take the money?
Yes. We would all three do it together. At the same time.
Yes, we can all take the money. We're $6 million richer now.
If I would never get caught, yes, I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Would you take it?
Probably would. Take off to Mexico.
Would you take it?
Not for myself.
Spend half of it, buy a house.
Who would you take it for?
Friends and family.
Disappear a couple of months to come back.
Would you take the money?
Yeah.
Would you take it?
Yes, I would.
And what about you?
Of course.
Would you take the money?
Yeah.
And what about you, Jay?
Of course.
You would? No hesitation? Would you take the money?
Yeah.
course. You wouldn't hesitate?
No.
I've got another dilemma for you. This lady wants to get rid of her husband. She says he's a rat. All you have to do is drop 1 tablet of arsenic into his coffee when he's not looking. You will get away with it, you'll not get caught, and she'll give you $10 million cash. Would you do it?
Yes.
What about you?
Do it for free.
Don't cut it out.
No, I would.
I call my buddy Ronnie to do it for $20 and I'll take the rest.
Would you do it?
Nah.
Everyone has their price, so yes.
You'd kill him?
Yes.
You seem tempted.
I mean, $10 million is a lot of money, and I like money.
For $10 million, you'd become a murderer.
For $10 million, he'd become dead.
Would you do it for 5?
Yes, of course.
1 million?
Yes.
So you'd murder someone for $1 million?
Yes.
Well, let's say she says she'll double it to 20 million. That's going to set you up for life if it's a very rich man. Would you do it?
I do it.
20 million?
Yeah.
Somebody offered me $20 million to kill somebody and I was never going to get caught. I probably would do it. I mean, who wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
Well, I guess you have morals and I don't, right?
Most definitely.
You would do it?
Yes.
You wouldn't hesitate?
No. I'm thinking about it right now. I wouldn't think about it later. I'd do it.
Would you do it?
Yes.
Would you do it?
Yes, I would.
You'd murder for $10 million?
Yeah, I don't know the guy. And he's a rat, apparently, so why not?
What say she's lying?
Not my problem. Just give me the money.
What about you?
Yep.
Okay, no hesitation. So you'd murder an innocent man?
Yeah, why not?
Most definitely. I'd do it.
Yes. Do it for free.
Yes, I would.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.